Oh my God. We're live, fellas. Welcome, America, to the best hour of your day, assuming your day is very, very mediocre. This is the Eric Rodney Show with Robin, where we pursue fame on LinkedIn until we get kicked off. Or we're rich, which should happen next week, we're thinking. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Hey,
I see it.
Special guest. Yeah, it's coming. Rick Shew, he's an actor, he's a podcaster, and a restaurant fella, but we don't care about business. I want to talk about acting and podcasting, which we'll get to.
This is LinkedIn. I thought I was here to talk restaurants and plug hospitality.
We thought early on that our guests would want to talk about business, but they never do. So we're just
They never do. That's true. That's true.
Quite rare.
And you know what? We can waste that time sending LinkedIn in-mails.
That's right.
Right.
Everybody loves LinkedIn in-mails, by the way. Cold outreach is universally beloved.
I always find, though, while we're talking about that just for a second, I always find the longer they are and the more obscure, the better. For example, I got 7 the other day. I'll get them up for us on the show, saying the exact same thing. I still don't know what they're talking about. I had to look up 2 of the words, and I'm still not clear. Something to do with computers and turbines. Now, oddly enough, we sell PEF, which has absolutely nothing to do with solar, wind bonds, any of that stuff.
So not great cold outreach, is you saying?
That it wasn't good. And you know what? I would also say on cold outreach, always start out with their name. Yeah. Rick,
you're having issues with the connection?
It's weird. I can see you guys. I'm hearing everybody. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you and see you.
Okay. Oh no, I'm getting a echo back too. That's crazy.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to log out, log back in? That usually works.
Let's do that. I'll log out, log back in.
All right, we'll make small talk while you figure it out.
So, do you want to hear about my weekend, Eric? Can I tell you something about my weekend?
I would love to hear about
I've been dying to tell you.
Yep.
So, I was in a pickleball. You guys know I like pickleball, right? I don't know if you heard. Anyway, I like it. And I was in a little, I guess it was kind of like a tournament. Well, anyway, so here's how it normally goes, right? Normally when you play, you show up somewhere, you play with your friends, whatever. And then you play with random people who are usually terrible. And then yesterday I show up and everyone there, Angel, how are you, buddy? I show up and everyone is exceptional, right? And then last night when I got home, my legs were a mess.
Where are you?
There you are.
Man, that was trippy.
Are you back?
It was like everybody was talking at once and then it was repeating it and repeating it. That was wild.
I think we're in the multiverse. I think
it's inside my head.
The Eric Rodney Show in the universe have launched right now.
The multiverse. Of course, this episode is making more money than the Flash movie multiverse this week.
It is.
I know you're a DC defender, which makes no sense to me because I'm a Marvel guy like the rest of the world. But nobody gives a fuck about the Flash. Like they had to throw in to maybe get 5 people to show up.
They care about Batman. They do. They'll show up for solo Batman.
Oh yeah.
Batman is a really good character.
Who's your favorite Batman?
Hard to say. Probably pound for pound, Christian Bale, because the movies are better.
Yeah, yeah, they were good. I got a quick question. Who is Flash? Who's the human behind the actor?
Ezra. What are the
Ezra Miller.
Isn't he in prison?
He's a problematic individual.
Yeah, but is he in prison? I thought he found like 10 girls in his basement or something.
Right? No, he's not been convicted. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not really following the legal story with him. You know what I mean? I'm not a real big fan of. I mean, he did a great job in this movie, but it is hard to watch because he's not a good dude.
Well, because I don't know anything about it, but I read the other day. I was reading somewhere that his criminal troubles. That's how I found out. I didn't know who he was. I heard of the Flash. Like I forgot about it, but he they said that his legal troubles had kind of tanked the movie, or they felt like it had affected the movie, and they thought the movie was going to be like a gangbuster movie, you know?
Yeah, the SAG writer strike I think kind of came at a good time because it didn't look as weird that he wasn't out there promoting the movie. They didn't have him out at all. They kept him in a basement, man.
Is this movie a throwaway anyway, right? Because aren't they rebooting the DC cinematic universe with the James Gunn? Is it going to be the Gunniverse? So
they are. The first feature film should be Superman Legacy. Yeah.
Oh man, how is he gonna make that funny? Superman is not funny. It's like I'm left as shit, but woke isn't funny, and Superman's not funny, and you can't,
I love Superman. Here's the problem: a Superman movie hasn't worked, and when I say worked, I mean hit on all cylinders, right? Fans, general audiences, box office critics. Since Superman 2 in 1981, 80. I mean,
with Christopher Reeves, right?
The second one, because the other 2 he did were trash. Well, I mean. I mean, I can defend them, but that's just because it's guilty pleasure stuff.
Yeah.
And then the Superman Returns with Brandon Routh. Side note, I auditioned for that movie multiple times. Didn't get it, obviously. I'm sitting here with
For the role of Superman?
And I'm gray. Yeah, I didn't. I looked very different in 2003, my friend. But yeah, I did. And then the Man of Steel thing didn't work. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I actually thought Man of Steel was quite a great movie.
I
Yeah.
loved it. I'm not giving you my personal perspective. I'll defend the Richard Pryor, Chris Reeve film all day long. But I mean, I gotta call a spade a spade.
I have a question. Hold on, because I don't follow any of this stuff. So Superman was that guy Henry, right? Something another.
Henry
Cavill.
Yeah, the prettiest dude that's ever lived.
But he got fired, right?
I don't know. Did you see Val Kilmer in 1994? Batman aside, like Tom Holland is gorgeous, right?
Dude, his Jim Morrison. I was in high school when I was out. That was man. Cavill. Well, to say he was fired, you have to have the job first, right? Yeah. So what is true is that they were going to continue with him post Black Adam. And then they are not now.
Right? No, but who's going to take that role? Is there
someone
else qualified?
I'd bet my right arm that James Gunn has the actor already chosen, but he's not public with it yet.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's probably Timothy Chalamet. Is that?
Maybe I'm
joking.
I didn't hear what you're saying. I was saying maybe it could be anybody. I'm saying that what I was going to say is that he's going to find an unknown is what I was trying to get to.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
At least a lesser known, maybe not unknown.
So let him know all four of us are available. So
yeah, right.
I think the world needs a Filipino Superman. Now's the time.
It does.
Well,
it does.
The world's gone woke, right? Not right. No,
exactly. Here's the other thing.
I think we should have a Filipino Superman. Come on.
Yeah, why not? How come they can't be super? There's no Filipino.
Only if they wear a shawl.
What's that?
Just wear a shawl. This has
been
a running.
They can wear a shawl, or actually a cape. You'll have a cape. It's a cape now.
We actually do have a Filipino Superman. His name is Captain Barbell.
Yeah.
It was horribly laughable. It was like this series that came out in the 90s. So like whenever he'd touch a barbell, he'd transform into like Filipino Superman. It was horrendous, but like
touch a what? A barbell?
A barbell. I didn't know that.
A barbell.
Yeah.
So does a curl and becomes a superhero?
He does.
You guys are fucking nuts.
You know what it is, Eric? It was like so-and-so's robbing a bank, and he's like, get me to the Gold's Gym.
I need a Planet Fitness. Where the fuck is a Planet Fitness? Here's the other, before we get into the news, this is why I don't think Superman works. And this is why it's so amazing that Captain America worked. I think for the first 100 years of comic books, you needed the red-blooded American male fighting Nazis, an alien with every superpower. Then Stone Cold Steve Austin came along. There's parallels here. We like the anti-hero. The 90s started. It was like Wolverine, Spawn. And then like the goody two-shoes thing. It's why Fantastic Four doesn't work, because Mr. Fantastic is in the mold of the Nazi fighting red-blooded American men, good guys, and it just doesn't translate anymore. We don't give a shit about the straight-laced dude. For Marvel to make Captain America work is a goddamn stroke of genius.
Yep, yeah. And it did. And there's some validity to what you're saying. There's no doubt about it. And that's quite frankly the genesis of comic books anyway. It was escapism for that entire world. And you had Captain America beating up Nazis in the comics. You're absolutely correct. I think that here's the thing: is that all joking aside, is that what Gunn is really great at, you can see it in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, is finding humanity in the craziest of characters. I mean, if you cry over a raccoon, right?
A CGI otter.
Yeah.
Like,
He can make Superman work.
If anyone can, it's James Gunn.
If he doesn't, they're going to shelve it. I think for as far as live action, cinematic live action goes, for God knows how long.
Yeah, I will say this before we get into news too. I do want to talk about comic books later in the show because you're obviously very passionate about it. You have a podcast. But the Spider-Verse is so brilliant because only that can capture what the essence of Spider-Man is. Like the earnestness can only really work in cartoons. If they tried like his mother doing speeches to him, if they did that live action, be like, this is goofy as shit. But the medium of cartoon works so well for Spider-Man, which makes all the sense in the world because it is a comic book. But goddamn, does that franchise nail comic book movie?
And if I may say this, and I swear I can't really get political on LinkedIn, but I'll say this. Here's the deal. What I love too is that you have Miles Morales. So they take a young black kid and they make him Spider-Man, but they don't replace Peter Parker. They created something new. And to me, that has so much more worth and respect than just replacing and just like, let's make this person just to do it. Now there's a freaking hero that's a Spider-Man that's a minority, and he's a hero to kids, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, not only black, but half black, half Puerto Rican.
Half
Wait, there's a new Spider-Man.
His mom's Puerto Rican.
Yeah, his mom's Puerto Rican, his father's black. He speaks.
I didn't even know there was a new Spider. I thought Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man.
It's an animated thing.
Okay.
You gotta start, dude. I'll send you a VHS copy of the Spider-Verse. Love it. I think he leans DC, but let's get into that later because we should cover the old newsy news.
Let's do it.
This is where we get in trouble.
America demands it.
America demands our opinions on these things.
Oh boy!
I've actually been banned off LinkedIn thrice now, so the fourth time couldn't be so
That's
bad.
only because you're from the Philippines.
They say the third time's a charm, but we're going for fourth.
Yeah. All right, here we go, Robin. What's up? What's the big story?
Yeah, the biggest story, you've probably actually heard about this already, but it's gotten even bigger now because now the U.S. Coast Guard is involved, and they're investigating the Titan submarine incident. So they're saying criminal or civil penalties might be at stake. Well, the whole thing from the start is just like a disaster waiting to happen. You have this cheap Logitech video game controller, the poor foundation of the vessel, and a very carefree CEO. So like,
not to mention that the fucking thing was built in a backyard. So this is what pisses me off, and this is what makes sense about libertarians all of a sudden. This is a waste of money. The Coast Guard or the Navy should not be involved in this. Some carny hack makes a submarine and it sinks. Holy shit, of course it was going to. But Canada, France, and the UK are all getting involved? Like, why? Why? If you build a bike in your backyard and it crashes, you go, par for the course. That's what this fucking guy did. Who gives a shit? Can we move on? You know what I'm saying?
I have a question. I have a question. Wasn't one of the guys a billionaire?
Yeah.
And he couldn't get a vessel built?
Well, I think the submarine costs more than billions. I think, you know what I mean? Like, you don't get to the ocean.
Okay.
You can't just spend $1 billion on something.
I do feel like, though, if you had $1 billion, right, you could call James Cameron and be like, James, how did you guys do it?
He chimed in on this.
He did. James Cameron came down there a bunch of times.
He absolutely did. And listen, I don't be Debbie Downer on a Monday morning, but I'll tell you the most tragic thing of this whole thing for me is hearing that 19-year-old kid's story about how he didn't even want to go.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
and he did it for his dad for Father's Day.
Oh, God, that's so sad.
That's what he told his dad's sister, his aunt. Yeah. And
my God.
I mean, set everything aside and just that is a human interest tragedy, man. It's awful.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Young man, it's terrible.
Oh, it
this
is
week they're like so this is the way the news cycle goes, right? Last week we were praying they were safe.
Yeah.
This week we're investigating what happened, and next week there'll be a movie.
Yeah.
Right? Or like 2 or 3 weeks, like literally, I'm sure Lifetime is already shooting it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I find? So this is, I think, very interesting from a human aspect because, well, just sort of the zeitgeist now. You know how the last thing that you can discriminate against sexually is short men? So, like, you can't go, I would never date an Asian. That's racist. You go, I'd stay away from blacks. That's racist. But women can go, I would never date a guy that's 5'1". And we know this. Like, Rick, you're very tall, right? 6'3". Like, we're all, I mean, I don't know how tall Robin is. I assume
Robin's 4'11".
4'11". But it's the same way that one of the last things we can make fun of is dead billionaires because there's been a million memes. You can't do memes after a school shooting or anything. So I pulled up some memes. I want you to rank these.
Oh, no.
Dead billionaires. Okay. This is the first one. If I was a billionaire stuck at the bottom of the ocean, I would simply pull myself up by my bootstraps. That's okay. All right. How about this one?
Is this actual footage of the controller?
Yeah, that's the controller. Still drowning rich people after 111 years.
No, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. The internet's brutal. Hello, I've been trying to reach you.
Oh my God.
Payphone, stop. God.
And one more.
I can't.
Yeah, I'm white, but I ain't. Let's get to look at the Titanic. You know what I'm saying, though? All right, so we won't.
That's funny.
Them, but I guess
all right. So wait. So which one's your favorite?
I like. Yeah, I'm white, but I ain't. Let's get to in a submarine and look at the Titanic white. I mean, that speaks to a multitude of things that happen in our society. What about you?
I'll just
remember the order.
I really
that
like
one was good. That one was good. What's the next one?
The next.
That one. That's my favorite because that's actual footage of the remote, right? Isn't that? How did you get that?
I have connections to James Cameron.
Do you see Jennifer?
Yep.
Hi, Jennifer.
Well, listen,
I have nothing to do with this part of the show, Jennifer.
She tunes in every time. But here's the thing, like if I go to a carnival, I'm not going to ride the roller coaster because some meth-addled hillbilly is building the roller coaster by the light of his cigarette. But so why would you know what I mean? I want professionals building these things.
Or where it's like up on wood and it's like creaky.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
One of the and if you guys see video, and again, I don't want to be dancing on grace. Memes are funny, whatever. But the guy, the CEO of this thing, the hubris of this guy was staggering.
Oh.
And I sad, sucks that he's dead. I hate it. But I mean, just deaths that are so freaking, what's the word I'm looking for, man? Just unavoidable. I mean,
or very avoidable.
Or that's what I mean. Very avoidable. Sorry. Yeah, I misspoke there. Just such a waste.
Yeah. Like I would never bungee jump. I don't find excitement in the thrill of death very appealing. I'm slowly killing myself with alcohol. That's how I do it. I think that's how
slowly
people do it. Yeah.
I skydived from my teenage years through my late 20s. And the last jump I did, I looked out and I was 12,000 feet and I was like, done, never again. And I never did it again.
Yeah. I don't understand.
Just one of those moments. I didn't have kids yet. I just said, no, I'm done. And I never did.
Why would you jump out of a perfectly good plane?
I mean,
what I would say back then is there's no such thing as a perfectly good airplane, but if it freaking lands, it's perfect.
Yeah, that's the best kind I know of.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Funny story. The first time I ever flew in an airplane in my whole life, I was 17 and I used someone else's ID, called a fake ID. It was a real ID, just not mine.
Yeah.
And I skydived. First time I flew, I jumped out of the planes. Yeah.
I would imagine security in a skydiving plane is a lot looser. Like they don't give a fuck. You're jumping out halfway through. Who gives a shit, right?
Well, it was 1990 too. So,
well, listen, before September 11th, a lot of things were different.
Well, that's when we were bungee jumping at 100 feet with just this thing wrapped around our ankles too. I mean,
you guys are crazy.
Different world.
World. Listen, it's tragic, but we can laugh at billionaires. We won't be able to in a couple of years. Like it's going to catch up to us. So let's do it while we can. Okay, Jennifer. Jennifer is a big fan of homeschooling, just so you know. That's a real thing. All right, what's the second story? It's a little more controversial, which I like.
It's weird, but
it's more controversial than those memes.
No, those memes are just the tip of the iceberg.
Those memes
so anyway, restaurants are great. Anybody? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, right. What's the story?
Yeah, the story is following Pride Month. Starbucks staff have continued to keep strike, and they're planning to do this until the 1st of July. And the reason, again, you guessed it, is they're disputing over Pride Month decorations. Mm-hmm. Get this, at least 3,000 workers have taken to the streets, and they're demanding justice for them not adhering to Pride Month decorations, which I think is absurd. Like, sure, I'm all for Pride, and like half of my friends are actually part of LGBT, but like the representation of 7% of the population shouldn't take over like this much. Yeah.
Interesting take. This is what I
wait, where are they rioting at? Is this Target or Starbucks? Where'd you say?
Starbucks, baby.
Starbucks. Okay. Okay. Who's rioting though? The baristas, the employees?
The baristas are upset that they can't decorate the individual Starbucks in more Pride stuff. But here's the thing about Starbucks. I feel bad for them. They're too gay for the right, not gay enough for the left. You know what I mean? Like they get in trouble no matter what they do.
Right.
If they say happy holidays on their cups, they get in trouble. They're obviously pro-LGBT, but they're not gay enough, so they're getting in trouble. I would imagine it's frustrating for Starbucks. You know what I'm saying?
I'm still confused. Wait, the employees are upset because they're the ones that are protesting are the ones that want more or don't want it?
They want more.
They want more. Okay.
It's like, you know how Target got in trouble for having a bunch of LGBT stuff and people knocked them over?
Right.
So, I don't know.
I almost wonder, though, I'm just thinking out loud here, just brainstorming. Like we have Pride Month, right? We have Black History Month. We have all these different months, right? I tend to believe that people that are trying to sell things, oddly enough, always are celebrating the holidays. Like I'm starting to see July 4th stuff. Wonder what's going on there. What do you think? I mean, this is absurd. Like if it's Pride Month, why would anyone be like, why are they decorating? Because it's Pride Month.
Right. And if you're shocked that, what do you, okay, Robin said it's 7% of the population that's LGBT. Like, I think that increases with baristas for some, it just feels right that there might be more gays per capita in the world of coffee making, fancy coffee making. So, like, are you surprised that this is Starbucks' stance? Are you out of your fucking tree? Go to Dunkin' Donuts then. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? If you're upset about this. Which a lot of people are, because I read the comment section in this thing, and even on LinkedIn, people are doing what they do on Fox News, which is they're really comfortable being anti-LGBT, which is wild. And at first I thought this is really shitty, and then I thought we should have these people on the show because they like one person said, "Yeah, I don't want you to shove your lack of morality down my throat or something." So to support Pride as they having a lack of morality, like this guy's openly going, I'm a bigot.
Right. And this is an entire month, right? So it's like, I don't know all the months, right? But it's like, could you imagine, right? Like at the end of August, they'll have out the Halloween candy, right? You know how it goes, right?
So you're saying if they start doing Pride in May.
No, but you're right. But I'm just saying, right? Can you imagine going in there and being like, get these Halloween decorations, get them out immediately. I don't want to see this stuff in here. It's insane. I mean, what is going on?
Which Halloween's an immoral holiday as well.
People are holding on to a world that they think still exists, and there's no one ringing this bell. And Robin said 7%. Maybe that's accurate. I would assume it's probably higher because now, even as crazy as it is, people are feeling at least more liberated and more free to come out. And when people say, "Well, why all of a sudden are there more gay people or transgender?" I go, because 20 years ago they could have been killed. Coming out 30 years ago, right? So that's why they've always been there. They live amongst us. There are brothers and sisters, in my case, quite literally, like just man, live and let live. Why do people get so worked up about what other people are doing that are just consenting adults? I'll never understand it.
Specifically the bedroom. It's like, will you stop? Who gives a shit?
Who cares?
Like,
love who you love, man.
This is my thing too. Like, just from a conservative point of view, if two gay guys or two guys are getting together, more chicks for the rest of us, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, you know what I'll say.
That's a good point.
And anecdotally,
start celebrating Pride too.
Anecdotally, I'll say this: I have friends I have far left, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders friends. I have far right friends that love Trump. And that's, we can kind of coexist in this world, and there are people that like legit, I'm not just saying this, I love equally, and we're all friends. Some I just avoid politics with, but what I will say anecdotally is that in terms of gay support, transgender right now is a different issue. That's more of a hot button thing that's current, but it'll pass. But as far as gay marriage and things like that, I don't even deal with that BS anymore. Well, even my MAGA friends that are, they're like, "Hey man, as far as that goes, live and let live." I'm like, cool. See, we're getting somewhere. Now we can all agree on something that's pretty damn important to society, to leave people the heck alone and let them love what they love, right?
Right. So that all sounds like perfectly reasonable to us, but I'm in Massachusetts, Rodney's in New York. Robin,
that's right.
But like in Texas, it must still be a thing, right? Like there's
I'm living. My primary residence is in Houston, and then I also have a residence up in Dallas. Long story, I won't bore you guys with that. That's where I'm from. But it's different because, the cities are the cities. I mean, it's not, any major city is basically the same in a lot of ways. But I get reminded really quickly that I live in Texas. I just have to drive, 15 miles in any direction. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, right. So, but even then, so it's changed from my view. I don't have any stats in front of me. I'm just sharing with you guys again anecdotally, and it's refreshing.
Yeah, I do think it's a little bit funny just in terms of unions. So unions gave us no more child labor. They gave us the 8-hour workday. They gave us the weekends, and now they're giving us more gay posters. So I guess the point is unions work, and we should use their power. You get whatever you want, really, with a lot of humans banded together for one side.
Have you heard now? It's in Uganda. They're passing a bill that it's illegal to be gay now.
I've heard that Africa's having some issues with their gays. Right. We need to get some Starbucks.
Wait, hold on. It's illegal to be gay. How does that work? So there's no one's gay? Is that because there's like, are you gay? Absolutely not. No. What? Come on, get out of here.
So like it's now punishable by death. If you're gay, you get the death penalty. And on top of that,
has anyone come forward as gay?
No, of course not.
Of course.
Yeah.
So this is just sheer stupidity.
I don't think. I mean, that's shit on Africa. We'll get canceled.
They're also passing this bill on Pride Month.
Are they really? No more Pride Month?
Yeah.
So my whole thing was like, who gives a shit on either side? But once I read the comments, I was like, you have to go gayer. You have to go gayer because these people are too comfortable coming out and being bigots. So the gayer, the better, in my estimation.
Are you going to bring on the screen those people's comments now? I'm joking.
I did. I'm joking. I did screen capture. I find it so the heart, and I think it's the Trump thing. People are just, they're too comfortable with their bigotry now because one of their boys won. The Weekend. He's not a group. I think he's changed his mind. He's changed his name.
You got too many E's in there.
Exactly. You gotta get rid of that last.
You got to get rid of that E after the K.
And he's also the artist formerly known as The Weeknd now. All right, what's the next news story? I like this one too.
Well, this one's not really news. It's just some woman who's arguing on Twitter. So this one comes from an influencer called Paige Spiranak, and she's screaming.
Paige?
Yeah. She's screaming because there's hypocrisy. So like there was a viral video that came out of two half-naked baseball players, and they were dancing at the pitcher's mound. So it went viral because obviously these are very fit athletes, and they're dancing.
It's from the Savannah Bananas, this fake baseball team. They're like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, but everyone's ripped up and they're all funny, and it's a staged baseball game, and they danced, and it was pretty erotic. I mean, listen, I'm straight, but even
it was pretty good.
Yeah, very good.
He's complaining how like none of the comments are shaming these men for showing off their bodies. In fact, a lot of the women are praising them, and she's arguing that like whenever she posts something provocative, these same women are
no, not women, men.
Yeah.
So let me show you what these people have an issue with. This woman commentates on golf. She likes to be provocative in her dress, and these lunatic golf fans are bitching about it.
So hold on a second. This is the lady complaining?
No, this is the woman who wants to wear more provocative stuff when she covers golf. And as you can tell by this comment, that's insulting to men. Don't toy with our love for golf. You're beautiful, yes, but you don't need to be overt, dress proper, and still be hot. So her point is, in baseball, guys can take their shirts off, do a sexy little dance. Everyone's like, yeah, bravo. Whereas this beautiful woman wants to wear less on the golf course, and these dorks, these conservative golf-playing Republican assholes are like, put clothes on, ma'am.
Wait, these are men? Are you sure?
Yes, they're men.
I'm so confused by this. And all I can hear is George Carlin's brilliant golf rant in my head. Nothing against golf, by the way.
No, fuck golf. I like Bill Burr's golf rant, which is that it's not a sport because no one's guarding you. Like in every other sport, someone's in front of you trying to prevent the thing you're trying to do. In golf, not only is there no defense, but people are quiet while you do it. It's not a fucking sport.
It's not for me. I'm not a fan.
Oh,
every time
Mark Twain say it was a great walk ruined?
Yes.
I like Topgolf. Do you guys have Topgolfs in your part of the world?
Yeah, we do. It's just driving. You just drive.
Oh, just hitting the golf ball is great, but walking around for 18 miles in the fucking blazing hot heat, look at it.
Well, you got to get the cart.
Dude, I get drunk really fast, hard, so I don't even last.
Who are these people?
This is the average golfer in my mind.
Oh, okay.
Like, does anything about these people make you want to hang out with them? Like, who do you think they voted for?
Here's a question. I'm just curious, right? I'm just asking. So these guys are the ones that don't want her wearing less? Because these look like the exact demographic of who would want her to wear less.
I know. I find that odd too.
Well,
were these guys preview or were these guys pulled with their wives present?
I want to believe. Listen, I want to believe that we live in a world where hot chicks are allowed to not dress, like they under Sharia law, and we all celebrate it. But if you read the comment section again under this article, there is so many what I assume are conservative white men chastising her for not wearing the appropriate attire when covering golf. And defending the guys, they go, well, they just did it for a one-off. It wasn't for attention. Like, so they danced shirtless and choreographed, and it wasn't for attention, you lunatic.
No, it was part of the game. Didn't you do that when you played baseball? We used to take our shirts off and dance, and the other team would get so distracted. It was automatic.
I played third base, high school baseball, and quite frequently I would just whip it out, spin it around.
Yeah, and then you always won.
Yeah.
This is the goofiest first world problem I've ever heard in my life. These people have.
Yeah, Robin's really digging for these stories.
I don't mean nothing against Robin. I'm just saying the story is a story. It's a headline. It's just whatever.
Was this a Fox News story, Robin?
Yes.
It was, yeah.
You know how I always know it's Fox?
It's culture war.
They report on the craziest stuff.
Yeah.
Like a UFO was seen, or I mean, it's always the craziest stuff lately with them. Go on.
Well, Yeah, but this is another thing. Like, we're just too comfortable. Like, this is why the Navy and the Coast Guard getting involved with a submarine that sank, someone's backyard submarine. Why are we upset about this chick? Why is this news? Well, there's rape, there's war, there's famine, there's disease, there's all this shit going on. We're like, look at the way she's dressing when she's talking about golf.
Well, oddly enough, this is what's confusing is that they were reporting on that when I don't know if we're covering it today, but there was almost a coup in Mother Russia.
What wasn't covered on Fox News? No coup, but this chick showing some cleavage.
Yeah. This is much more important than the coup in Russia.
Yeah.
See, I was debating about including that, but like, you guys might just get bored.
Oh, so our own Fox News correspondent decides that wasn't worth talking about today.
Right.
All right.
I'm just curious. I'm going to their site and seeing if this is even on their homepage. I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
I think it's towards the bottom in the general.
It's what they're leading with. Tucker's going to break it down later on Twitter.
His Twitter show that 90 billion people watch.
Yes, but I will say, so the first episode had like 160 million. The last episode that we watched only had like 10. So his viewership is tanking.
10
million, but it's still going down.
Right.
I think the production value or production quality obviously is not up to this show, but I just feel like his production value may have gone down since Fox. I feel like they had better graphics and commercials.
I will say his subject matter is going down. Like the vitriol in the first 3 episodes was 10 out of 10 stars, but last 2, not so good. He's running out of steam already.
I
think he should interview RFK Jr.
I spent a day in that studio back in May of 2013.
Yeah.
It was a trip.
Was Tucker there?
No, but I dealt with Steve Ducey all day and the Fox and Friends crew. Yeah. He was really, really nice. And his cousin, Mike Ducey, is a big sports guy up in Dallas that I've known for my whole adult life. We talked about that. It was crazy. I had coffee with Colin Powell in the green room. Yeah, it was a fun day. It was a really cool experience. But it was wild because I was walking around and these bombastic, these controversial, they all want to be contrary and whatever to get the ratings. And they walk up to you, the most nicest professional people.
Well, it's theater of the absurd, right?
It's theater of the absurd.
Yeah.
And I was wanting, and I have also met Sean Hannity. He has rolled into a steakhouse that I oversaw for 10 years, a couple of times. I will say this: set aside opinions on Sean. I will give credit where credit's due. He tips 100%. He rings
a good tipper. Nice.
He rings a $5,000 tab. He tipped my server $5,000. I mean,
listen, at the end of the night, after a hard day of spewing hatred all day, you got to tip well.
That's right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like how he gets his money, that's almost a separate conversation. I'm just pointing that out.
It makes me like him a little bit better.
Just saying something nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Fox Studio thing, that was wild. Gretchen Carlson was there. That's how long ago that was.
Oddly enough, they're in the middle of New York.
Yeah, I think it's because it's acting. It's a lot of.
It must be. I just always feel like it should be in the middle of a flyover state.
You would think, but no, they like the conveniences of Manhattan. All right, let's do one more, and then we can get to the Rick Shew hour, half hour.
Yeah. So when I read the headline of this, I thought it was really promising. So I'm going to read it to you, and then you decide. An LA police drug raid has found a drug super lab disguised as a pizzeria. They say this is as close to Breaking Bad as it gets. Now, I'm going to poke a hole in this headline because it's so exaggerated. First of all, so far, the cops have only found that they're producing THC concentrate, which is just marijuana.
That's why this story fucking sucks. A super lab and they're making THC. I can buy that at 7-Eleven now.
Yeah. That's by the horny goat weed peels. Come on, guys.
Exactly. Like you could have been making ecstasy or ayahuasca. You're making fucking THC. And once again, if you go to the comments, all they do is they lay into the liberals right away. I'm like, how is this? How did you work out this?
That's it. It was THC. That's all they found.
That's it. They ran a nuke. This is Fox,
and it was in LA, so it's legal there.
I
don't get it.
The other day, in New York, our governor said that she was going to put everyone in jail if you're buying marijuana illegally. Oddly enough, there's only 5 places, maybe 6, in the entire state of New York to sell them, and 3 of them are like near Albany. I've never even been to Albany.
Right.
Now, here's a question for the panel. Sorry if I'm throwing something. I don't mean to throw everybody off here, but it's still illegal on the federal level. What what? So the question is, what could the feds do if they really wanted to? Can they come into Boston or San Francisco and bust up a place because they can?
Yeah, they can actually. Yeah, they can. I actually I was talking to a lawyer about this a while back. Just we were just having a conversation, and I said, "How does that work?" And he's like, "If they want to come into a state, they can. They have to deal with the state agencies,
right?"
But like out in California, when they were seizing the plants and the whatever the group is, not ATF, DEA, right? Whenever the DEA came out, they would take all the cash, and like and one of the things that happened, not to get off on business here because this isn't a business show, but
I thought it was. I'm just kidding. What am I doing?
That's
here?
why we're on LinkedIn, because it's not a business show. But yeah, a lot of the dispensaries had real issue trying to get banking accounts and whatnot, right? Because they were all paid in cash and the banks couldn't take it and this and that. It was a real mess.
There's some
Los Polos Hermanos.
Yeah.
That was a great show.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
there's places here in Texas right now. I mean, the CBD shops, they're all just there waiting to flip the switch when it becomes legal here, which is strange because in Oklahoma, it is far more progressive there with this than we are in Texas, which blows my mind because you couldn't even legally get a tattoo 20 years ago in Oklahoma. I mean, it's nuts. But there's a shop up the street for me that's CBD, but it's THC in it. And I was BSing with the business owners, like, how do you get away with this? And it's because there's a threshold within the state that I guess Abbott or whomever is in charge of monitoring this, he can sell or he can implement on these edibles and whatnot. So there's even loopholes in states like Texas now where it's ever. So I find it really fascinating that it's THC where you can get it in Oklahoma legally for the most part now, and they're busting up a plant for it. Can we stop the war on drugs?
Well, maybe the plants busting. You know what?
It's over.
Drugs won the drug war.
Take every nonviolent criminal that's behind bars right now for drug possession and get them the hell out of there and let them get back in society.
Wait, Eric, hold on a second. Are you saying we should make shirts that say drugs won?
Drugs won the drug war. We lost to drugs. They don't even have an army, and we lost to drugs. You know what the problem is? They're fucking amazing. Drugs.
How do we stop the cartels? How do we do it? I've got a really novel idea. Put them out of business.
Exactly. Just tax it.
Put them out of business. Tax it. Put them out of business. Regulate it.
Now, if we had our affairs in order and we were a true capitalist society, we would have started manufacturing the drugs here, selling them, and undercut them. That's just I'm just brainstorming.
You know what's what? So in Massachusetts, I live in Shirley, which is an hour outside of Boston, very small. We have our own dispensary, and there's dispensaries in every town that surround us. It's so ubiquitous now, but much like a strip club, as soon as you walk in, there's an ATM machine because you can't pay with a credit card or a debit card because of the federal illegality of it, which is so fucking stupid. It's 2023. It's legal everywhere. My small town, nothing of a place where I live, has a gorgeous dispensary. They're growing there, but I got to take money out of a goddamn ATM. We have to stop the madness. And it is the slippery slope because Salem, Massachusetts, of which fame, has just decriminalized psilocybin. So they're going to start selling mushrooms soon, and I'm so excited.
So you're moving
to Salem. I was born in Salem, so it's exciting.
That's cool.
Yeah. So soon there's going to be local meth labs, ecstasy, ayahuasca bars. Oh, I cannot wait.
There's going to be ayahuasca tea shop. Come on in.
Can you imagine
the best 8 hours of your life?
Did you know part of the ayahuasca experience is purging? So you shit yourself and puke all over yourself. So those bars are going to be wild.
Yeah.
And after that, you get to talk to God. So.
Oh no,
Rodney, where do you live?
New York, Long Island.
Okay, you're in Long Island. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, Melissa just went. I told you. Fucking ATM. Very bizarre.
Yeah. The other issue they have too, right? Is that you can only, like, I know, like in the bank and stuff, you can only deposit like $9,999.99 before you have to fill out a currency transaction report, so you're not anti-money laundering. But I would imagine, like, if you're really rocking and rolling with the THC shops, I mean, that could easily happen in a couple of hours, right? I mean, you got to have somebody run into the bank constantly, I would think.
You would think, because it's legal drug dealing. All right. Well, listen, we covered the news. America is thrilled with our opinions. And now we get to talk about Rick Shew. Shew, by the way, that was an interesting spelling, but isn't that the way Shew should be spelled? Like, how the audacity to spell Shew, S-H-O-E. That's how you spell Shew.
Animals.
That's aside.
I like it.
Yeah. Okay. So you do many things. You're an actor.
I am. I'm still in it.
And
still trucking along.
And you auditioned for Superman?
Yeah, true story. So back in 2003, and it was a pretty wild experience too, because it just kept going and kept going and kept going. And there was a point, I can remember my agent calling, she's okay, now they want to see, they've got this script and they want you to read for Clark Kent, and then we're going to do the scene for Superman. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? It was like the fifth time. Yeah. And Bryan Singer was directing it. And he's had his own controversial issues, but he also is the X-Men fame guy too. He's a great director, by the way. He did Usual Suspect, in fact. Yeah, and I'll never forget the day that I saw online Brandon Ralph, bartender, bowling alley in Iowa, new Superman. Kevin Spacey.
That's right, because they did cast an unknown, and it could have been you.
And that dude was great. And he deserved a sequel, didn't get it, but he was great. But yeah, I don't know how close I got. It's impossible to say. I was supposed to at one point screen test with Spacey, and then they never flew me out. So you could have gotten the role and made out with Kevin Spacey. That would have been So my guess is they probably screen tested 25 people with Spacey. So maybe I was on that short list of 50.
Wow,
and you could have gotten touched by Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
we should have a show called Touched by Kevin.
There you go.
And he comes.
Well, he never played Lex again.
We could run that show for the next 1,000 years because he's prolific.
He never played.
He's been a busy.
What a lifetime ago. Jesus.
Yeah.
He was really good. Maybe I could play his dad now.
He was amazing in Usual Suspects, though. He was incredible.
Great.
Oh yeah, you got to separate the artist from the art, is what I always say about.
Great in LA Confidential, also.
Mm-hmm. And I also thought he was really good in House of Cards. He was a straight psychopath in that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
on and off screen.
I didn't like Baby Driver though. Thought that was a trash movie.
Terrible.
Thank
you. Know what other movie I didn't like that he was in, and I thought was terrible, and everybody loved it, was 21, the card counting game.
I never saw that, but I thought American Beauty was also trash.
Yeah, American Beauty was trash. It was very artsy. I hate art house films.
Well,
I like Marvel movies.
It was just weird. It was overwrought, man.
You know
I thought that American Beauty was like, this isn't deep. It's stupid. I mean, I love how The Simpsons and Family Guy, I don't know which one got to it first, but they mocked the whole thing.
Yeah, the
guys
trash bag.
In the air.
Yeah. Who ripped who off on that? One of those guys did that first, and then Seth MacFarlane or
I feel like I did that when I was 8 with the family camcorder at Disney World, but I mean, I don't know how they got the footage.
Mina Suvari. That's one of the hotter movie posters, though. You had an almost naked Mina Suvari. What happened to her?
Yeah, what happened to her?
I think she got canceled for something.
For fucking Kevin Spacey?
I think she got in trouble. Well, I think something happened with, I don't remember. I might be wrong about this, but I think something happened with her. Like with the direct, I don't know. They said that because what was that lady's name that said she got blackballed because of Harvey Weinstein? I think it was like something like that.
Rose McGowan, right? Or
Rose McGowan.
Yeah.
But I think it was something like that with her. Is what I mean. Something like that happened to her. Is what I'm saying.
All right. So, Friends from Work is your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's pop culture.
It is.
How long have you been doing it? A while, all right?
So I was on Batman on Film, which is a very popular Batman podcast. It's great.
I happen to hear you. I think that guy was on your show.
There was a guy from there that was on the show. Yeah,
and he has 400 episodes about Batman.
Batman on Film specifically probably has more than that. Hell, I probably have done 400 shows in my 8 or 9 years I was there.
And what's the show about? It's about Batman?
Yeah,
that is. So anyway, that's where I was at in terms of pop culture podcasting. I've had this thing that we're doing now for, I guess we've been live about 6 months. We're trying to build it. It's but man, what I like is just carte blanche. We can talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
It's been hard for us with the immediate stardom and fame that we've gotten, but I understand what you mean. Yeah, it's not easy.
Right. Do
you think there's
this is the hardest thing ever?
No, I know.
Podcasting is not easy.
Do you think there's a path to just podcasting as a job? Like, could you be This American Life at this point, do you think?
I mean, I would love it, but I mean, look, my passions are restaurants and acting. And I just kind of put podcasting in that mix with it. Not that I'm acting, but you know what I mean? It's entertaining, it's performing, it's preparation.
You and I are very similar, Rick. A couple of my favorite things: eating, resting, and talking.
There you go. All right. Yeah.
And you're a big DC guy, DC and Star Wars, right? Is that the main?
So here's the best way for me to put it. Yes and no. I'm a big Batman guy.
Okay.
If you moved him over to Marvel, I just follow him over there.
All right. So Batman's your guy.
Batman's my guy.
What can you list what's the best Batman movie?
probably pound for pound Batman Begins.
Batman Begins was fucking fun.
The best movie is probably The Dark Knight. The best Batman movie, I think, is Batman.
Wait,
Begins.
hold on now. Now who? This is how I rank. I don't know the names. What? The one that Heath Ledger was in. What's that called?
That's The Dark Knight.
Okay, that was amazing. That's
as masterful as a crime drama as Heat is.
Yeah, Heat's amazing. Which one are you talking about now? The other one,
the previous one before The Dark Knight. It's the first one.
Who was the star?
Christian Bale.
Okay, yes, that one was amazing too.
Yeah, he's on the rooftop with Gordon at the end, which is oh my gosh, why am I going blank on Gary Oldman? And he shows him the Joker card, and that's obviously Heath Ledger's card.
And Heath Ledger was supposed to be in the third one, right? But he went off and died like an idiot.
So, look, over at Batman Film, I know that the Bill Raimi, he's the editor-in-chief of that thing. He was really knee-deep with the Chris Nolan and his wife and Emma Thompson, all those guys during that whole thing. And he would tell you that as he understood it, there was no concrete plans for that. With that said, between us talking, I couldn't imagine him not probably bringing him in there at some point. It was It was too much. He was just amazing. Yeah. But but I am glad that he didn't attempt to do that with another actor. Obviously.
Oh no, he couldn't have. No, that would have been a nightmare.
Right.
No. So
you gotta go with the other game probably that had Jake Gyllenhaal in there, right?
I always thought Jake Gyllenhaal would have been a great Batman. And
his sister was dating Batman at the time, so there's obvious tension.
That's right. She did the second one because Tom Cruise, I guess, probably wouldn't allow Katie Holmes to do because that was the same role.
You know what's fucked up? Like, this is just the internet. There was a meme. It was like, it's hard to take Batman, The Dark Knight seriously because the hottest guy in Gotham is dating the ugliest chick in Gotham. Because look at Maggie Gyllenhaal is not attractive. Katie Holmes was he went from like Kim Basinger. What are the other actresses that he got to bang? Maggie's just not that hot.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So who's Batman now? Do we know?
Well, technically, Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton are in the cinemas presently.
Michael Keaton?
Yeah, he's back in the Flash.
100 years old.
I know, he's in the Flash. But Robert Pattinson's the actual, constant Batman right now.
What'd you think of that movie?
The guy from Twilight?
Oh, I love the Batman. It was a crime, film noir, drama, detective story.
I agree with you. I just think it was an hour too long, and they lost me at the end because, like, you're gonna flood Gotham. Like, that's the big. I'm just so sick of the bad guys attacking Gotham as an idea. You know what I mean?
I will actually agree with you on that. That's why I can't rank it as one of my top, because that whole third act and that whole scene with I check out of that. I really do. I'm like, man, it's a weird 30 minutes of that movie for me.
Yes, it collapsed under its own weight.
I'm not a fan, and there's a lot of issues I have with that whole sequence, but I love the symbolism of him in the water and literally and figuratively leading the people of Gotham to the light. That's cool. I like that a lot. And I like the way it ends. So the ending's awesome. But yeah, man, the last two, I saw in the theater multiple times with family members, whatever. I mean, after the second or third time I saw it, I just started getting up and going to get a drink. It's like,
I started watching it. Yeah. I started watching it and I kept having to turn the brightness up.
It was so dark. It
was very dark. And I said, you know what? This is really like that. I'm going to have to.
I think the darkness worked for the opening scene where like the bad guys are doing shit and you hear the footsteps, and I was kind of Jurassic Parky, and I was like, oh, this is good. But then you couldn't see anything for 2 hours.
Well, and here's the other minor issue I have with it, and I still overall really love the film. I'm looking forward to the sequel, but that should have been pushed to a rated R. Like, if you're gonna have the Riddler that's so not comic book-esque at all,
not Jim Carrey,
then go all in. Right, go all in, and they had to pull back because it was PG-13, and I feel like that was kind of a jarring artistic choice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that opening scene where he kills the mayor, he's hiding. That should have been more gruesome. I'm sorry, it should have for that to work.
The two Deadpools were R-rated, weren't they? Or
that's right. Yeah, they were R-rated. Yeah. I know.
R-rated superhero movies work, obviously.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds, I think he would only do them if they could be R-rated.
Man, he was born for that role. He
really was
hilarious.
You know what? Here's an idea, Rick, that I had. I don't know if Eric likes it, but you take DC versus Marvel versus Fast and the Furious. I mean, that is gold.
Can I put Star Wars in there somewhere?
Yeah, throw them on in there. Get them in there. It'll be like a 25-hour movie.
Yeah. Last man standing. I support this.
And here's the thing, Rick, you might not know. Vin Diesel's real name is vehicle identification number. So just so you know.
You know who has the goofiest real name, and I can't remember it, but maybe one of you guys will. I think it's Van Winkle. He's from my hometown. He's from Dallas. It's Vanilla Ice.
Yeah. Yes.
What's his name?
No,
Van Winkle.
Yeah, Robbie Van Winkles.
Well, I think it's just the last name. Yeah.
Van Winkle is objectively hilarious. For
it's just not at all what you know.
Yeah.
Really funny.
I think it's it fits the brand because he's goofy as shit.
But what if what if his last name was just Winkle?
Yeah,
that might be worse. That might be worse.
He was great in Ninja Turtles too. I will say that about Rob Van Winkle.
Some rock stars I grew up with, like Nicky Six. His real name is Frank.
Yeah.
Mick Mars, Bob.
Yeah.
I remember being really pleased when I found out that Van Halen was a real name.
Yeah, Eddie Van Halen. That's a good fucking name, right?
That's a great name.
Mm-hmm.
Elvis Presley, real name.
That's a real name. That's it. That's it. Elvis
Rodney Steele.
Rod Steele is a real name.
There it is.
Robin
I'm also
Valdez.
really curious, Rick. What is your opinion on like Star Wars since Disney took over? Because I know a lot of hardcore Star Wars fans just simply don't consider it canon anymore because they're so pissed off.
You know, yes, they do. And what I would say, this is almost an hour conversation. I'm gonna try to make this brief. That faction of fandom is toxic, and half of them are sexist and racist. And I can prove that when you go and read their reviews. If you're complaining about minority characters and a female lead, that's literally your issue. Then your issues are far bigger than Star Wars.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But that faction of fandom hits Rotten Tomatoes, and they'll get a hashtag going on Twitter. But to answer your question, I think I think the Mandalorian, just that alone, isolating it, is the single most culturally significant Star Wars thing since the OT, and I'll die on that hill. It just is. And I personally like the sequel trilogy. My favorite one is The Last Jedi, which was the one that they had to shift gears on because it was way too divisive to fans. But so I mean, overall, I love it. I mean, come on, I like the prequels and I'll defend them and everything. But anybody wants to tell me that this content is worse than episodes 1 and 2, right? Little Anakin, and come on, that's just. Empirically, these are better movies. Yeah,
I think so. Endgame, I think, is like, arguably it's one of the greatest superhero movies of all time, right? Like,
dude,
culminate of that thing. And
oh my gosh,
that toxic fan
masterpiece,
and that toxic fan base got mad at the girl power scene. Remember when she was like, she's not alone, and then all the girls get together, and it was like they're like, oh, it's fucking. The toxicity that exists with superhero movies is out fucking outrageous. And
it is. It is. It's more toxic than politics. It becomes political,
right?
And it's like, man, this is supposed to be escapism. This is supposed to be where the stuff that we all just go to see this stuff to not think about this garbage. Now you guys are making it the garbage, and it's just unfortunate. But let's keep in mind, it's online fandom that's a minority within a minority with a minority, right? They're just loud. Back in the day, back in the day when Michael Keaton was cast as Batman in 88 or 87, whatever year he was actually cast, people lost their effing minds, right? Well, what did they do? What did they do then? They wrote letters to Warner Brothers. You didn't hear them. They weren't all over.
Right.
They didn't have hashtags. They didn't have a platform.
Wait, why did they like him? They didn't like Michael Keaton?
No, he was a comedic actor.
He was too little. He was too small.
I like Michael Keaton. I think he's great.
Oh, he was coming off as like Mr. Mom, and he's just the same thing with Heath Ledger. Everybody's like, a gay cowboy can't be the Joker. It's Jack Nicholson, and then everyone's like, holy shit.
Or how about is that brilliant of a freaking actor that he can play all these different characters? But yeah, with Michael Keaton.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about. He did Brokeback Mountain with
Gyllenhaal. Comes back around to Gyllenhaal. Look at that.
I almost wonder though if people had enough sense to know that he was acting. I'm just curious.
He wasn't actually a gay cowboy. See, this is the thing.
Acting.
The middle of the country recognizes that there's acting involved.
Correct. And if he was a gay cowboy, why do you care?
Exactly. No, I don't. But
no, I know you don't. I know you guys don't. So what if he is?
It's crazy though, because people are like, how could he do that? He's in a movie.
Yeah. And that's another one of those jobs I don't care. I'm not understanding. So whoever wants to do is like joining the military. Let the gays.
Well, hold on a second. If somebody came and said, "I'll give you $10 million to play either Heath's dead now, but Jake Gyllenhaal's lover in a movie, fake lover in a movie," I would be like, "When are we leaving? What time? Who did you say again?"
Yeah. I don't want to undercut you, but I'd make out with Gyllenhaal for $1 million.
I'll tell you guys a quick side story here is that so I just got back in acting after about a 2 or 3 year hiatus. Got my agent, got fired up, had to go get new headshots, the whole 9 yards. I've been auditioning like crazy. It's been great.
Nice.
But my first audition that I got a call back on, which was last month, was for Rouge. Can I even say the product? Is that inappropriate? Okay, I won't say it. Because I don't know. Well, I just don't know if I can speak about it until it comes out. But
they'll never see it.
It was.
No, but
it was for sexually frustrated men. I'll put it to you like that.
Oh, nice.
Well, it was just funny because of my age and everything. But back in the day, you got paid a lot more money to do those kind of commercials. There's even a Friends episode where Joey's got a herpes commercial pill thing he's doing.
Yes, I remember that.
Right, because it was so taboo, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to have to jump, guys. That's right.
That's right.
But I'll just say this, because what reminded me of that is we're just sitting here talking about. Well, it doesn't matter. But anyway, but that's not the case anymore, by the way. Well, so now so like the gay cowboy thing, for instance, like now you're just gonna get the same amount of money. You better be comfortable doing it.
Right. So we're gonna see your erectile dysfunction commercial soon, I think, right?
No, I didn't book it.
Oh, son of a! Can I do it?
No, I didn't book it.
So I did some acting in high school, so if they want, you want my number, pass it along.
Maybe I inadvertently sabotaged my my callback. It's like, this will curse me.
How many castings are you doing on average?
So I don't know, man. Like last week, I read audition 3 times. So here's the crazy thing: is that in this post-COVID world, casting offices are closed. So we're responsible for. And I talked to my friends in LA and New York and Atlanta, Chicago, friends that are acting all over the place in larger markets. Texas is a big market when you take Austin, Houston, and Dallas and put them together, right? There's a lot going on here work-wise, but you got to wrap arms around all 3 of them. But they're not there either. Casting offices have closed. Some are opening back up in LA, but I don't know if you ever put that rabbit back in the hat, because casting directors now are not having to pay for that rent and whatnot and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so
it's too hard to go back.
So I use StreamYard actually to tape my auditions. I have to edit them, cut them, and send them in.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But all right, guys, I'm so sorry. This was so much fun. I got to jump though. I'm so sorry.
Can you answer this one question?
Yeah.
Number 2, if not Batman, who? Rick,
Batman not being an option. What is your number 1 superhero? Oh God, the question's hard. Probably Superman.
Oh man,
because that first Superman movie and the Richard Donner, Chris Reeve film and the Batman TV show are the things that made me fall in love with comics and DC and these characters in the first place. So probably have to
Rick, they can't get enough of you. What's the name of your podcast again?
It's called Friends from Work. Let's chat. Let's chat because there is another Friends from Work out there. So yeah, let's chat. Please.
Yeah, that other one sucks though.
Yeah, I don't know those guys.
You guys, thank you for doing this. I know you got to jump.
I do, guys. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Rick.
It was a lot of fun.
This was fun.
Take it easy. Bye.
Good.
Bye.
Now it's just the 3 amigos.
Now it's just us for the last 3 minutes.
The 3 best friends that anyone.
I do have to mention there is something called the Eric Andre Show, and every time I try to put a hashtag, that one always comes first.
Eric Andre is a little more popular than this.
Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
Nope, never.
A lot of nudity on the Eric Andre Show.
I don't. Is that the guy? Is that the guy that was dating Emily, whatever her last name is?
Yes, he's banging way out of his league.
You know what I don't understand? Here's what blows me away. Right, is that obviously right? She's a model, and I don't understand him and Pete Davidson.
I know.
It's bizarre. And Pete Davidson's hysterical. Don't get me wrong, and he's rich, and I mean they all are. But she's rich too, and she's beautiful, and I don't know.
Yeah,
very bizarre.
Yeah, it's just us 3 and our 2 groupies.
That's right.
How long do we do this before we get 3 groupies, you think?
Here's a better question. This is a better question. How long until we either get famous or canceled?
I know. I think the good news is we have to get famous to get canceled.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. Unless Melissa figures out a way to cancel us. But then
well, you know what? We could go the Alex Jones method and just start telling lies.
I'm not opposed.
You know the biggest lie though that he ever told, in my opinion, was that he was on some sort of weight loss regimen. That didn't seem like it was insanity.
It's a pretty bold move for a guy with C cups to be pimping weight loss pills. You know what I mean?
It's like he's going to come up and start giving you advice on on working out, and you're like, okay.
The other thing that I love, he starts screaming like he's intimidating, but he's just like this short, fat, balding dude. I'm like, this can't be real.
And it's his show. He's screaming at the people on his show, like, what are you going to do? But like, get out of here.
She's upset that she's a groupie. No, I'm sorry. So I think today's guest was good. I like the pop culture thing. I just, I don't know that we can pull it off. I don't.
The problem with pop culture for me is I don't know anything about Batman and Superman and
that's
Flash Gordons, and I don't know
what
I'm talking about.
I did 500 episodes on Batman. How the fuck do you do 5? I couldn't do 500 episodes on.
I couldn't write a 500-word essay on Batman.
I think he's fine. He's a fine character. He's good. But
we could do right. I mean, here's one thing I could do, and I don't know about you, Eric, but you can catch up pretty quickly. Is we could break apart the Real Housewives franchise.
I've never seen an episode, but if it's going to make us famous, I will. Do they have Real Housewives of the Philippines?
Oh,
That's a good question.
probably not. It's probably called like Titas. The group of Titas.
Jenny is with us.
No.
I think this is what we should do. Me and Rodney should move to the Philippines. All three of us will marry ladyboys, and then we can do the real house husbands.
The real lady boys of the Philippines.
Yes. And our adventures with our wives with penises.
It'd be a great show.
I'd watch. All right. Well, that was the hour. I could do 500 shows on bourbon. Oh boy, did I drink a lot. I had 500 bourbons last night. So. All right. Goodbye, America. Until tomorrow. SEO.